Oh, hi there, Old Rabbit Russ here welcomes you to Casa Caneo, if you'll excuse my Spanish, and most people have to. Well, I was just getting ready to iron the sheets for my French guests that are coming next week, but seeing as you've turned up, how about I tell you some exciting news? I saw on the internet 4 fabulous guys from Franklin in Kentucky, not Franklin in Tennessee, who were playing a guitar quartet, and I was so impressed that I offered to write one for them, and they said yes, which was even better. So we're working on some vaguely Spanish themes, and I'm going to put together a little tutorial video on the kind of techniques that I'll be trying to put into the piece of music. So why not come upstairs to the old music room and I'll show you what we're doing. Okay, let's come this way. Up the stairs here. Watch out for the dragons. And trip over on the bend. As you can see, I've got a 3-piece suite, but I think I've only got it for the guitars. And a lovely view over the countryside. So, let's get down to some music. So, I'm not a flamenco guitarist. I am not a flamenco guitarist. So what I want to talk about is the techniques that are in my head, that some of which come from flamenco, but I wouldn't say I execute them properly by any means, and how they're going to fit into the piece. So, as you've probably seen from the charts I sent you, most flamenco rhythms, or the common ones anyway, are based around a pattern of 12, 12/8, or 2 bars of 6/8. So at its simplest, the one that's labelled fandango is just 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, very simple. But then a lot of the dancers swing between the triple time and double time. So you flip effectively from 6/8 to 3/4. So you get da 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 1 and a 2 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and a 1 and 2 and, yeah. So putting that in with some taps, you can get something like. And then melodically that's going to give you things that again just changes the emphasis, it sways it a bit, so you get that sort of backwards and forwards movement. So that's nice. But I did promise to talk about a risquado, didn't I? At its simplest, and let's face it, the way I play it has to be simple. It's a way of getting a continual strum. So you get something that sounds a bit like this. I'll do close-ups later on to try and show my hand. Yeah, so you've got fingers going down, thumb coming back up. And learn to change chords at the same time. Knickers. thing that's also called a risquado, which is just really loose wrist actions. So you're going down with the finger, tapping on the way up, and then coming back up either with the fleshy part of the finger or the thumb, and then catching it on the top as well. I have to admit, I'm not good at this, but I understand the concept. So can add some nice rhythmic tones to it. So the tricks, or things to practice, are the looseness of the wrist, which means if you're going to be loose on the wrist, you're going to have to be loose everywhere, really. It's one of the contradictions in classical technique, that you're looking for stability, so you're sort of holding things in place with your legs, but your arms and your upper body have to be totally relaxed, so they can go where they want. I don't know if it'll show in the close-up, but one of the things about that is it's a very loose wrist, but there's not a big up and down motion. It's not a sort of Pete Townsend type thing. In fact, when I was being taught a long time ago, the teacher used to put, I'll tell you how long ago it was, a £half-crown piece, which is old English money, 2 shillings and 6pence, which nowadays be what, 25p, so about 20 cents, on my wrist. And whenever I played, that had to stay on your wrist, so you had to be able to do all the dynamics and everything without over moving the hand. It's a good exercise. Right, so those are 2 important techniques. Another thing that comes up a lot, and that I really like, is tremolo effect. Which, depending on your skill level and how much you practice, you can get faster and faster and faster. One of the things I've noticed about flamenco players is that I was always taught to use IM, yeah, for runs. So you have runs that are going, and they're done with just 2 fingers. Flamenco players tend to use all 3, and I'm not sure I can even do that. No, I can't. But what I'm told is that, and it's logical in a way, if you're using all 3 fingers, that means that they only have to happen every 2/3 of the time, effectively. So you have more time in between for each finger to readjust itself. So theoretically you can get faster with your runs, but also you can get more incisive with your runs because there's more power in the middle fingers. Now if you take this into the tremolo technique, quite often tremolo technique is initially taught as thumb for the bass note, and then either A-M-I or I-M-A, yeah, which is sounds sort of like, and you can speed that up. Fast. You do tend to get a natural pause as you're kind of reloading everything. So what I've been trying to work on myself, which I think makes a nicer tremolo, is to go thumb, angular, medio, indice, medio. So you get a tremolo of 5. And it's more, it should be smoother. I think it's a technique that's worth developing, of getting a really smooth thing going with the tremolo, because for me the tremolo is a way of making a melody really float and sustain in two parts that are different textures but both maintain themselves. And the difference in sustain between the bass strings and the treble strings, I mean, you need something like that, I think. So those are the main techniques, and hopefully there'll be more detailed stuff when I get the cameras in on close-up. The actual ideas I've got for the piece itself, you know, I sent you some links of the flamenco guitarists, and also this Spanish poem by Lorca, the death poem or lament for a bullfighter. And I've been thinking about that. I find it a really touching poem, and thinking about the fact that flamenco has its roots in Moorish, which is basically Arabic and Jewish culture, both of which came from the south of the Mediterranean, and how at the moment we've got a similar sort of set of problems to what they had in the 12th century, that we've got people from Africa trying to get to Europe and dying in their hundreds on the water around Sicily. So it seems like the right time to be singing a lament for the death of friends. And if you watch flamenco, I mean, this isn't going to be a flamenco piece, but I think that they are the European blues, really. They understand. They have this word duende. One of the translations I saw said that it's not really singing unless it's a bit painful. You have to have that feeling. And a good flamenco setup, when you watch the credits roll up, there are usually three guys who are integral to the music, called Las Palmas. And these are the guys who just do the clapping. So in my head, I guess, what I'm thinking is that there will be quite a lot of this piece where be one person playing and the three others are backing him up with either tapping the guitar or clapping, because that's going to be integral. That's going to give it the structure to allow the player to breathe. And I want to put room in for a little bit of expression, possibly even improvisation. I don't know about that, but at least some expression, some ability to sway. So you need a good rhythmic backing for that. And I'm not sure whether I want the piece to include someone actually reciting the poem, or whether I'm going to get a friend to recite. I know someone who speaks good Spanish. Get someone to recite it for me and make a tape of that and use that as an accompaniment to the piece while it's played. But that's sort of the way my mind is working at the moment. As I say always, comments are welcome, so if you guys have ideas, let me know, because the more ideas there are, the better. Okay? And I'll go through a little bit of the clapping. I think there's one that I haven't done yet, but I think it's a really interesting rhythm. If you imagine your background 12 going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is a really interesting swaying rhythm. There's a lot you can do with that. So if you guys can get to clap that in unison, preferably not like me, speaking the sounds out as well, but it takes time to get it. I appreciate this. It does take time to get that kind of rhythm, particularly when it moves like that, embedded in you. So it's going to take practice, but I think it'll be worth it. Okay? Cheers guys. Bye!